Silenced, submerged, and sleek. In this video, we are revealing the full story of every weapon Navy SEALs carry. Chapter 1. Suppressed Sidearms and Handgun Evolution. Mark 23. SOCOM, the offensive handgun. In the 1990s, USSOCOM ran a competition for the ultimate offensive pistol, HK-1. The Mark 23 was over-engineered by design, corrosion-resistant, match-accurate, and built to function after full saltwater immersion. Heavy at 2.4 pounds loaded, it was less a field sidearm and more a precision instrument for close quarters elimination. Next up, the modern standard, Glock 19 Gen 5/SIG P320, the current carry. By the 2010s, SEALs largely standardized on the Glock 19 Gen 5 and SIG Sauer P32. For their modularity, salt corrosion resistance, and interchangeable components. The P320 now serves as the M18 across much of the US military. For SEALs, the sidearm became a last resort, but it had to work every time, wet or dry, sand or sea. Chapter 2. Assault Rifles and Carbines. The rifle is the SEAL's signature, chosen not for prestige, but for the environment. Jungle rot, salt spray, and mud have killed more missions than the enemy. Each generation of SEAL rifles solved a problem the last one couldn't. Stoner 63. Vietnam's modular experiment, Eugene Stoner's masterpiece before the M16. The Stoner 63 could reconfigure from rifle to light machine gun in the field. SEALs in Vietnam ran it as a squad automatic weapon through the Mekong Delta. Lighter than the M60, far more reliable in swamp conditions, it was cancelled. SEALs were furious. Continuing with the carbine that defined the generation, CAR-15/XM177, the River Rats rifle. When the M16 was too long for boat insertions and tunnel work, SEALs went shorter. The CAR-15 with its collapsible stock and 10-inch barrel was the default Vietnam SEAL weapon by 1968. Loud, with a vicious muzzle blast, but compact enough to move through triple canopy jungle without snagging, concealable on an extraction, essential. Moving on to the post-9/11 workhorse M4A1 SOAP Mod Block 2, the Neptune Spear Rifle, the rifle that killed Bin Laden. The M4A1 SOAP Mod Block 2 represents the pinnacle of American carbine development. Free-floating rail, 14.5-inch barrel, suppressor-ready, with an upper receiver toleranced for automatic fire without overheating. DevGru operators carried this variant on Operation Neptune Spear in 2011. It is still in service. Next up, the European challenger, HK416D, the Wet Weather King Germany, solved the M4's gas tube fouling problem with a short-stroke piston system. The HK416D runs cleaner, cooler, and more reliably in the salt spray conditions SEALs live in. Adopted widely across SEAL teams post-2005, it became the default choice for operators who needed a rifle that would function after a combat swim insertion without a cleaning kit. In the Black Ops world, the weapon you carry can identify you. SEALs and their SOG predecessors operated under a brutal calculus. If captured with American weapons, the mission becomes a diplomatic incident. Solution: carry nothing American. Swedish K Carl Gustaf M/45. The Ghost Gun, a Swedish submachine gun in the hands of US Navy SEALs. The Carl Gustaf M/45 was chosen specifically because it left no American fingerprints. Light, simple, and reliable in jungle humidity, it became the sterile weapon of choice for SEAL recon teams and SOG operators inserted into denied territory during Vietnam. If you died carrying it, the US could deny you were ever there. Moving on to the ultimate deniable platform, AK variants. The enemy's own weapon, nothing says sterile like your enemy's rifle. SEALs and SOF operators have carried AK-47s and AKM variants on deniable missions since Vietnam. Ammunition resupply from enemy caches. No US manufacturer markings. In some theaters, carrying an AK made a SEAL look like an insurgent until he was close enough that it no longer mattered. Chapter 4. Launchers and special weapons. SEALs have always been the Pentagon's test pilots for weapons too experimental for conventional forces. Some became legends, some became footnotes. All of them gave a small team the firepower of a platoon. China Lake Grenade Launcher. The Pump Action Punisher. 3 explosive rounds in under 4 seconds. The China Lake was a pump-action 40mm grenade launcher developed exclusively for SEAL use in Vietnam, when the single-shot M79 wasn't fast enough. Tubular magazine, pump action, devastating at close range against fortified positions, only a handful were ever made. Everyone went to the SEALs. Next up, gyrojet rocket pistol. The beautiful failure, caseless, rocket-propelled 13mm rounds, no recoil, minimal noise at the muzzle, and theoretically effective underwater. The gyrojet was evaluated by SEALs in the 1960s as the future of underwater combat, and it failed. Velocity was too low at close range, reliability was poor, and the rounds gained power as they traveled, meaning point-blank shots barely penetrated. Fascinating, useless. Finishing off with the legacy launcher M79/M203, the blooper before the China Lake, there was the M79. The thumper, the blooper, the elephant gun. Single shot, break action, 40mm. SEALs used it for ambushes, perimeter defense, and direct fire on sampans in the Delta. The M203 underbarrel variant freed a hand but gave up range. For a SEAL team with no artillery support, the blooper was organic fire support. Chapter 5. The Modern Arsenal. The modern SEAL doesn't carry experimental pistols or one-of-a-kind launchers. He carries a system, modular, suppressible, adaptable from a maritime insertion to a mountain ambush within the same 72-hour operation. Sig Sauer Spear LT MCX. The new standard 6.8mm SPC capable with a short-stroke piston system that runs in salt, sand, and cold. The Spear LT represents the next generation of SEAL primary weapons, modular, enough to swap barrels and calibers mid-deployment, suppressor ready from the factory, and built to exceed the terminal performance of the 5.56 NATO round at extended ranges. Adopted by SOCOM as the NGSW-AR candidate, it may define the next 20 years of SEAL engagements. Finishing off with the full modern sidearm picture, SIG P320/M18. The modular sidearm, the serialized fire control unit is the gun, swap the grip, the barrel, the slide, same legal firearm, different weapon. For SEALs, this means one pistol chassis can go from a compact concealment carry on a deniable op to a full-size duty pistol on a direct action raid. The P320 is now the most widely fielded handgun in US military history. From the hush puppy whispering through a Vietnamese jungle to the Spear LT clearing a compound in total darkness, the SEAL arsenal has always reflected one truth. The mission defines the weapon, and the weapon must never fail. The SEALs don't carry the most weapons. They carry the right ones, and when the water closes over their heads, those weapons come with them. Which of these would you trust on a night raid? Subscribe for more elite unit breakdowns.